Welcome back, MTG Joe here. So I'm playing kind of a brew right now. I wanted to try to fit my three favorite cards so far from Theros into a deck, see if I can make it a thing. So the cards are Ashiok, Nightmare Muse, very powerful Planeswalker from the new set. Really like everything this Planeswalker's doing. Probably my favorite card from the set, Thassa Deep Dwelling. Blink as much as you can. I really love like enter the battlefield style effects. My EDH decks, Maelstrom, Wander, like Blink, ETB combo kind of deck. So she works really well. And then Erebos, the Bleak-Hearted, two of in my mono black deck. Great card advantage engine. That's a big body on its own. So those are like the three new cards. Obviously, Grey Merchant. I love mono black Devotion. It's the deck that I've been ranking up with. So really enjoyed that. So it's kind of built around these kind of cards. So what we're trying to do here is this Dimir, so blue-black mid-range deck. So not mill, not control. We're trying to be the aggressor here and then leverage certain effects. So we have Knight of Ebon Legion as an early attacker. We have a pretty impressive discard package in terms of Burglar Rat, Fenlurker, and Thought Erasure. Mana-wise, I went with more Burglar Rats than Fenlurkers. Only because it's a little bit easier to cast this on two if we draw one of our islands versus if having the double black. Maybe worthwhile going 3/3. Fenlurker has the upside of it getting exiled so it doesn't fuel escape, but this is a little bit easier and more consistent to cast on turn 2. I went down a Brazen Borrower for my first testing with the deck to add in a Fblthp. The card advantage is pretty useful on this card here. And then you have Thought Erasure also as Disruption. So you have effectively 10 discard spells, 6 of which can be blinked with Thassa to have reoccurring value to attack your opponent's hand. A couple Thought Erasures, and then Murderous Riders and Brazen Borrowers as Disruption and Removal. We have our 3 gods, blink all our creatures with ETBs. When our creatures die, draw extra cards. And then we have Nightmare Shepherd, which is pretty useful to get extra activations out of our spells when they die. You get to exile them and create a token. Atris, however you pronounce it. Basically, factor fiction for 3 cards. Your opponent separates them into 2 piles. You get basically the better of those piles in your hand. One's face down, the rest goes into your graveyard. A couple Grey Merchants on the top end. If you can get it out with Thassa, you can blink it every turn and kind of drain your opponent. Also works out well with Nightmare Shepherd. And then 1 Agent of Treachery. This might be a little bit too greedy on the mana, going up to 7. But if you can get Thassa and an Agent going, you pretty much steal all their good stuff. Mana base-wise, pretty simple. You got your 8 duels, a couple castles, and some Fabled Passages. Then sideboard-wise, might actually want to just add Ritual of Soot in here. So we have Disdainful Stroke, negates versus like kind of the control-y matchups. Agonizing Remorse versus more of the control-based matchups, another way to attack your opponent's hand. Noxious Grasp versus green decks. Narsets are actually pretty good against both like Hydroid Krasis decks, like Uro, stuff like that, and the blue-white decks. So I think I'm going to get rid of an Eat to Extinction and 1 Noxious Grasp and just go Ritual of Soot. Seems a little counterproductive with our deck, but against like the hyper-aggressive decks, we're going to want to wipe their board. I was playing against mono-white, and I was able to stabilize, but when they drop like 4 1-drops on the first like 3 turns and then go into Loxodon, you want a way to just recover from that. So I'll make that adjustment afterwards to the deck tracker. But let's play some games. I'm probably not going to play ranked right now. I'm trying to see if this rank will hold up at 881. So I don't want to test unplayed brews yet. I've only played 1 game with this. I bet mono white, but that was just a single sample point. So let's play some games. I'm a little congested, so I apologize if my voice is a little muffled. If we end up getting close and have to play some more ranked matches, I'll stream it for that. Okay, so we can't keep this hand. Okay, we'll keep this. Atris will give us some advantage. And mono red will be a problem. Yeah. So this is the matchup where we want the ritual. Hey Quantum, how's it going? I ended up playing a lot more of the Doom Foretold list that we played the other day on stream in Ranked. It's been actually really strong. I'm actually just going to keep the Knight on top just as a blocker. It can help us hopefully bridge. Okay, so they have Steamkin. So Steamkin's going to get killed by this. So we effectively have a couple plays here for the next few turns. So these actually pump each other up. Just want to save some life here, because we're going to take 2 damage off the Murderous Rider. And they got light up the stage. So opponent's hand's been really quick. Annex has been really good in these decks. Just going to do this now before they cast the Annex and trigger this. So Annex is powers equal to your devotion to red. And then whenever a creature dies that you control, you create a 1/1. If its power is 4 or greater, you create 2 1/1s. So this ends up being just a pretty big body. I'm probably going to go Murderous Rider next turn. It's a lifelink. It may help us stabilize, but even with the opponent at 2 lands, our draw just didn't really play out this game. We kept quite a few lands. Yeah, they got another. Yeah, this one's over. Because they go Rimrock here, they attack for at least 4. Oh, they actually don't. So let's just go Murderous Rider here. Do they have like a shock? Is this on an adventure? I don't know if this is exiled with light up the stage or is on an adventure. Oh, they just got cleave. Yeah, we're dead. So Curve didn't play out that game. So this is basically a ritual matchup, and I think that's it. May actually want these as well. Go down an Agent. Go down Erebos in this matchup. Go down a couple Brazen Borrowers. The Cleave's usually not as like demonstrative in that matchup. It's worse than like the Gruul matchup where you can just take like 10, or even with what's his face, Rotting Regisaur seems a lot worse. Brazen Borrower is not the best here. They usually have like haste or ETB, and it doesn't block well, so I think we go down that. And I don't think we're building up enough devotion this game to have Erebos, plus the card draws. Probably not where I want to be from a life perspective. So now that we know we're against a mono red deck, we're going to try to keep a hand with a little bit more early interaction, whether it be Tyrant, Scorn. Play draw makes a big difference against mono red. I gotta play that deck actually next time on stream. It's gotten pretty good again. Annex really helps it, because Annex can easily be like 5 to 6 power, and then you cleave, which adds more to the devotion, plus it gets double strike, and then it also insulates you against a board wipe. Because what was the problem with mono red a lot of the times was you just got hit by the initial sweep. Like, we have a lot of removal and we have Knight, but we're also really weak if we don't draw another land. Okay, well, keeping this. If we don't draw a land, I'm just going to pack this one up and then we'll fire up another game. Not drawing well this game. Well, I think the mono red list will usually play 3 to 4. It's really easy to turn on because you can go like 1-drop, 1-drop, like 1-drop, 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 and or with thing. Here I'm just gonna get the value. If they have a shock, it fizzles on Fblthp. And I want to make sure I can hit another land. You know, we didn't need a 5-drop. Come on, deck. And they got Bone Crusher, untap Bone Crusher. I love how like the 20 land deck is hitting their lands better than us. Okay. Well, we lost this one. Let me just fire it up. Because the thing is, Annex also gives them insurance, and we missed too many things of land drops. Let's just fire it up again. Not the best showing. Mono red, if we could stabilize early, it's probably not too bad. Plus, we can attack their hand. Really, what you want to try to do is avoid Big Troll Daddy. I forget his name. The 4-drop that adds extra power. Missing your land, like mono red's a deck that will punish you if you miss your lands. This hand's great. I don't mind 2 Atris because you can just block with it. The menace is relevant from an attacking standpoint. If this is control, we would have preferred the card advantage, like the card discard. But drawing into one of our castles versus control is very good. Just in case they have any sort of shenanigans, let's get the castle down. So I'm probably just going to use the Scorn, to be honest, on this, just to get it out of the way. It gives us an opportunity to keep poking damage at them. They're going to gain 2 life off Birth next turn. So I'm going to force this out now. They likely have a counter spell, but I want to get... Oh, they don't. Okay, so this can be the blue-white, like enchantment style one. They'll play like this, Thassa's Intervention, or Thassa, the draw one we were playing. Still gotta get used to all the new names. Cracked my box yesterday, it was actually really sweet. I got 2 full art Calyx, 1 foil. I got 2 Nyleas. Take 2. Seems better. Weird, I would imagine you'd want Brazen Borrower separate. I got foil Pelucranos. I got 2 Underworld Breach, 1 foil. I got Heliod. Got a few sweet cards. So like jamming Ashiok, I wanted to resolve. So I think here we just do this. Because I kind of want to put enough pressure on them that they shatter the sky here. Wipe the board, and then I can attack with Ashiok and then just start making tokens. Okay, so they got rid of a Banishing Light, which is pretty good because when Ashiok comes down. And then this lets me hold up Brazen Borrower. That can also bounce, like if they have Banishing Light or something like that afterwards. Okay, so Time Wipe, that's good because now we can untap with Ashiok. And even with this hand, like they've actually kept up. Just these Thirst for Meanings have given him a lot of card advantage. Okay, so they can Tef here. Okay, so let's... Our mana situation's pretty crap just because I can't double spell. So I can attack their hand this turn. Which I think we just do that. We give them another turn to Teferi. Dream Trawler needs to go away as quick as possible. I don't mind that. Hey Flash, if you just hover just in the right hand corner, there's a widget that'll show you the deck list. If you can't see it, let me know and I will post the deck from Aether Hub. Here's the deck list. The only thing we changed was in the sideboard we went to 2 Ritual of Soots. So this will force some more cards out of their hand, hopefully. Okay, so they absorb here, which means that they can't turn on Castle. So they can't block this turn, and I'm just going to get some card advantage. So like this, I kind of want them... Do we take the 2 pile or do we take the Thought Erasure pile? Because they can go Elspeth Conquers Death if they want on Atris. I think we just take the 2 pile. This actually allows us to cast Brazen Borrower, which is pretty good. I feel like most of the time you just take the 2 pile. So we'll see if they go Conquers Death on Atris, because I want to get this out of their hand, so that way when I bounce the Brazen... Thassa would be a pretty good draw here. Okay, so they Conquers Death. That's actually really good for us. So now... I'm going to get rid of Tef. Yeah, Atris has been very impressive. So just get rid of this. Make another body. And probably gonna go Brazen Borrower for the flyer. Because I figure this turns Banishing Light. Banishing Light my Ashiok. I just want Thassa so I can start blinking this Burglar Rat and just eating away at their hand. This version, I think, plays 2 Dream Trawlers. They might play up to 4. We got rid of 1 from our opponent's hand. I can start drawing cards too. We're hellbent. Okay, so they go Tef. So I'm just going to flash this in now. My guess is they go Tef on the token, Banishing Light on my Ashiok. And then I can attack down the Teferi. And then Brazen Borrower and Thing are both cards you probably don't want to. So let's just draw here. I could still Murderous Rider. Okay, let's do this. Leyline. That's interesting. Okay, so they can return to Fairy. Oh, they bring back Dream Trawler. That's actually bad. Okay, so we have Brazen. Yeah, I think because Ashiok lets you cast at an alternative. So let me see if they mistakenly block with Trawler here. So I can get rid of the wall. Do I want to do this or just draw cards? I think I just want to draw cards. So what my plan is, I'm going to Brazen Borrower to tap this on their turn. So if I do that, I'm one short. So we'll just pass the turn. Because this is, it gives them hexproof until end of turn. So this will fizzle the ability, but it lets us get in a turn to attack. Interesting. They opted to not discard there. They go Shatter. I think we just pressure here. So we can see what's on top. Do I want to draw Fenlurker? It gets a card out of their hand. Maybe, because then if we draw into Thassa, it might help. And we got a Banishing Light out, which is actually really good. Because if we could drop Thassa, it'll help. Just racing this thing's going to be a pain. So they opt with the Scry. Another line doesn't really help the equation. Nightmare Shepherd's not bad. So at the very least, Nightmare Shepherd can force a double block on Dream Trawler, so it stops them from attacking this turn. So here they have to decide if they want to lose their last card to gain 3 life. They don't. So this kind of forces cards out of their hand. Because really what we want to try to do... Okay, so they could have a removal spell, but I think we double block here. I think that's a good trade for us. Followed up with another Shepherd. see if they have the counter here. How many board wipes have we seen? We've seen a Shatter and a Time Wipe. Let's just do this now in case we get a discard effect. Obviously weaker to board wipe here, but even if we board wipe, we still get Murderous Rider and Yarok Fenlurker token. Opponent's at 29 cards in library, so are we. Okay, so Thassa's Intervention should help him find something. This is basically a souped up dig for time in the late game. Just literally dig through time. Look at the top 7, put 2 in your hand. So I would imagine most likely opponent does have a board wipe here. So Conquer's Death is something we need to be concerned with because it's going to bring back the Dream Trawler. Tyrant Scorn's not bad because we could bounce our Murderous Rider. And kind of get some utility that way. Castle's great. I like this build of Dimir better than the one we played during the streamer event. Feels a lot more kind of resilient. Okay, so they have Absorb. The problem is these Absorbs have just kept them in the game. No island. So we're likely going to get Trawlered this turn. They'll come down. Okay, so they thirst for meaning. And the problem is Trawler closes out the game fast enough that we can't just try to hold them out from a card advantage standpoint. May want Erebos' Intervention in the side. I realize that in the sideboard we don't really have Graveyard Hate. So I can try to bounce this to their hand. We can attack in for 4, but then they just cast it again. They got Leyline out. The build with Leyline seems... This kind of feels a little win more. Hey Machitami. There's a little widget on the right hand side. If you hover it, it'll show the deck list. Otherwise you can find it here. The only thing we changed was the sideboard, where we added in a couple copies of Ritual of Soot for the aggro matchups. Problem is I can't tap down now and they have to fairy to protect, so we're pretty much dead there. So in this matchup, I want the negates, I want these Extinction probably, and Disdainful Stroke negates. Just adding a bunch, and then we'll take out some stuff. Erebos is good as a card advantage. Agent could come out. The Burglar Rats, Fenlurkers feel good. Tyrant, Scorn could come out. Fblthp could probably come out. It's not much pressure. So basically I want an early threat and then disruption. Probably shave down a Brazen Borrower. Probably a Thassa. So Nightmare Shepherd that game could block, but it feels a little lackluster. Maybe the Garys, but the Garys can kinda just swing the life totals maybe. Am I realistically going to have a big board state? Because I want these to early pressure, at least on the play. Maybe cut down one. Maybe just cut them down, just have the discard package. But I like this on one into thing on two. Okay, let's go down to Thassa. Eat to Extinction may not be needed. Or maybe, you know what? Instead of Murderous Riders, go Eat to Extinction because it exiles, which is better with thing. And then cut down these Nightmare Shepherds. No, I like this flyer better. Let's do a split. I just brewed up this deck, so sideboarding is still something I'm trying to tweak up. Elspeth Conquers Death's a very powerful card with Dream Trawler. Lets you be aggressive with attacking and blocking, so it's hand sweet. So I'm going to Thought Erasure first, and then Burglar Rat. Thought Erasure gives us the choice. Okay, so they have Leyline main. I think that's fine. So I want to pick off like Hushbringer's actually quite a pain for our deck. They didn't have to ferry, so we can keep this. So it's the weakest card like from what the opponent has, but it's also the one that's going to be the biggest pain in the ass for us. So I'm going to get that out of the way. They'll probably just discard the extra ley line. Negate backup's also really nice here. I'm most concerned with this card. Escape cards for this deck, like Watery is probably not the best. Agonizing Remorse or 2 cards. I think we go Agonizing Remorse. Remorse lets us hit this Dream Trawler, which means 1 less Dream Trawler. Okay, so let's Remorse here. Do I negate this? They gain 3 life. I think we do negate this. So they get Conquer's Death down next turn. But it's just gonna exile Artis. And they could bring back Hushbringer. They don't even play. Oh, they could do it at instant speed. So I'm Thought Erasuring here because I'm probably going to take the Conqueror's Death. So then I want to keep this for when I could kind of have a better chance of hitting a Dream Trawler. I want those exiled, both because I could get them back with Ashiok, hopefully, but it keeps them out of their graveyard. I will Disdainful Stroke the Conqueror's Death. Come on, opponent. Time Wipe or Conqueror's Death. Let's do this. Narset's cool. So I'm not going to play the Narset out yet because I want to hold up both of these. Okay, so we should be pretty good. I'm probably going to get another blue source here. And this is really what I wanted the deck to do. Disruption with a clock. We're not overextending. The counters disrupted them when we needed to. Actually, I should probably be playing Mystical Dispute in the side. That seems like something we're missing. So opponent's digging. Sweet. Took him down there. So on the draw, I think we get rid of the knights and play more disruption. Play the Murderous Riders. Do I want Fblthp? Or like their best cards. Let's just go like that. Yeah, I think we go like that. And just play it out. We don't present enough of a fast clock with Knight to just have that out. Like when you're playing, like, say, red-black cleave, then you want the density and the early threats. Yeah, this hand's good. I just want to tear apart their hand. So I'm going to Remorse here because I want to exile if they have something like really good. The Absorb or the Banishing Light? I think we get the Absorb first, so that means our Thought Erasure can go through. See, that's a little unfortunate because we wanted to... So this turn, I'm actually going to Thought Erasure first. Damn, they drew into another Absorb. Absorb gets around... I think we just get rid of that. Because if I wanted something on top, then I wasn't going to scry this turn. Need a removal spell. Actually, what I can do this turn, bounce this, and then Fenlurker, so it catches a card. Hopefully like Shatter or Banishing Light. Get rid of the Banishing Light. Okay, they get rid of Shatter. Let's go Temple here. Don't think we want Burglar Rat. I need to get rid of this Hushbringer. And I'm also not going to play Erebos here. I'm going to flash in the Brazen Borrower. Let's see if you attack. Sweet. Do you have a counter? So that one was a little rougher for me to attack. Maybe should have done it on their turn. Still kind of winning this race. Stroke's actually pretty nice. I think we just race them. Discard a Banishing Light. Okay, it's one less Banishing Light. I should have pumped with Fenlurker. Let's just attack with the 1. See if we can hold back the Fenlurker, or hold back the Hushbringer. I might be wrong holding back. I might just want to jam Erebos. I basically want to hold up this Disdainful Stroke because we can't have a Dream Trawler come down against us. I'm cool with this trade. So Thassa doesn't actually do anything versus us, like in this present moment. Stupid little hate bears. Like, our hands is loaded and we would be able to like tear them apart, but okay, cool. This lets us Atris. Actually, I think we go... Do we go Erebos? I think we go Erebos. Mainly because it can give us card draw. In a pinch, we could sacrifice this Fenlurker. Okay, so they play the Absorb. That's actually going to mess up the race a bit. I may have to try to get this Thassa down just to tap this thing. Ah, crap. Because that turns off our counter spell now. Hushbringer, you're no fun. So no value there, but I gotta get this Teferi off the battlefield. Make a Banishing Light on the Atris. They might have a Time Wipe too. Or Shatter. Because this also turns off Gary. We have it in hand. I want to do it, but it won't. Blue-white players don't like fun. We might have been too passive this game, not committing more to the board, but I wanted to really protect against Dream Trawler. What you up to, opponent? You're at 13 minutes. You go Leyline. Super Flash. So this means they could instant speed the... Okay, so they let Teferi die. Works out pretty well in our favor. Another Burglar Rat's not needed, so I have 2, 4, 6. So let's just play this out. I just want to put more power on the board. So if they try to Banishing Light, I can negate it. Because this is a good amount of power to come down. Hey Lawsome, how's it going? We also have insurance against a board wipe. But I think we let a board wipe happen. Because he gets rid of Hushbringer. This is officially my least favorite card in Standard. Crap. Teferi keeps getting under us. Yeah, I'm running 2 Ashiok's Warlock. Just in case they have something, I want to keep Teferi off the table. Let's just do this. Obviously no value, but we gotta do what we gotta do. For those who are tuning in, if you want to see the deck list, there's a little widget on the right hand side. If you can't see it, you can also see the deck list here. The only change we've made is included 2 Ritual of Soots in the sideboard versus the aggro matchups. Mono red, the first game, kind of stomped us. Okay, so we have Agonizing Remorse. So let's attack first. See what's going on here. Okay, so they absorb. They're going to flash in an exile effect. We do need to kind of watch out because they could flash in Dream Trawler. So normally what would work is we basically get to draw a bunch of extra cards or attack their hand with like Fenlurker, but Hushbringer is stopping all the fun. They're at 11 minutes. We are at 38 cards, they're at 34. So Thassa could at least every turn tap the Hushbringer going forward, so they're not going to gain life and threaten us. We can attack in. turn here. Kind of have offense, defense, but not really. Can't really do anything here. I get rid of Thassa. Can't believe this stupid thing. Because we got rid of the Tyrant Scorns. And we can't really dig further into our deck. Which makes it a little harder. So if I do this, we have 3 mana. But I kind of want to hold that in case. I just want to empty my hand at this point. So that way I can start using Castle if need be. Obviously, okay, so we got 1. That's probably the scariest interaction. Because the one thing this card didn't need was Flash. So we're shields down. Yeah, they got the Time Wipe. Gets back Hushbringer. They cast Hushbringer. They don't cast Hushbringer. The saddest Gary. This is gonna kill us now. Because now they can also just... Yes, we need to find something to deal with this Hushbringer. You know what's not gonna deal with that Hushbringer? Thought Erasure. Oh shit. Ah, crap. Well, meant to take the Time Wipe. Accidentally clicked through there. So their hand was garbage, other than the Time Wipe. They top both, so definitely one of those is a Dream Trawler. Thirst, get rid of the Ley Line. I guess playing 4 Ley Lines actually isn't that bad when you're playing Thirst for Meaning, because you can just chuck away the crappy ones. We need a removal spell, which we don't get. GG opponent. That one was rough. Felt like we could have had him. Let me give Arena a quick reset. And then we'll get 1 more up. Probably just do a best of 1 with the deck, see how it plays out there. People usually ask me on YouTube afterwards, like, how's it fare in best of 1?